So I've certainly reviewed a lot of Electimuss fragrances throughout the years. As you can tell, I have pretty much everything that this brand has to offer except for like one or two fragrances. Here we have a brand new release that just came out. I've actually been sitting on a bottle of this for some time, but I've been collecting my thoughts and I'm finally ready to share them with you. This one is called Gladiator Oud. I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts with you very soon, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on the brand new Gladiator Oud by Electimuss London, I do want to start things off by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you took something of value from today's episode. It would really mean a lot to me. So, this fragrance, composed by Julien Rasconnet, he's such an amazing perfumer. He's done so many wonderful fragrances, everything from Creed's Royal Oud to Enclave by Amouage, and I personally worked with him on some fragrances for Navitus Parfum as well. Here we have his expertise lended to this particular creation, and this one is inspired by the gladiators of ancient Rome. Of course, with a name like Gladiator Oud, you expect there to be oud or agarwood in here. There's also vetiver, there's Atlas cedar. You have a lot of spicy ingredients in the opening too. You have cumin and saffron, but then you do have a bit of warmth in the heart. You have honey, you also have hay, geranium, a little bit of vetiver in the dry down to kind of give it this green conclusion as well. In any case, I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with the presentation. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you will immediately notice just how bold, strong, and charismatic this is. This is not an entry-level fragrance whatsoever. Some fragrances from this brand are kind of mass appealing and very easy to get along with, and they have a tried and true and tested DNA that will appeal to a very large crowd. This fragrance appeals to the connoisseur, in my opinion. This fragrance has a very niche aroma that it takes somebody with a good deal of experience to really appreciate it, right? Somebody who has smelled tons of fragrances. So, of course, with oud being the namesake of this perfume, you are going to get a lot of oud. So here's the interesting thing. Oud can be quite medicinal at times. It can be balsamic, it can be woodsy, it can be spicy, it can be animalic, it can be earthy. There are many different faces when it comes to oud. In this fragrance, it's not particularly animalic or musky or anything like that. But because it's paired with Atlas cedar, it does kind of give off this peppery, smooth, woodsy vibe. Now, I mentioned peppery, and there are some other spices that are kind of working their magic in here. So in the opening, we have the saffron, we have the cumin. Cumin is another hard to get along with spice, and that's putting it mildly. But saffron has a very exotic tonality about it. As a matter of fact, a lot of times it comes across smelling a bit like leather. So you kind of have like this leathery, woodsy, spicy, peppery fragrance. You have a bit of hay in here, which kind of adds like this earthiness about it. And I think the vetiver does that too, but this is not a vetiver-driven fragrance. This is not a hay-driven fragrance. Hay is a very common note in fragrances like Chergui by Serge Lutens, and I've tried it in a number of slumber house compositions. I'm not getting a whole lot of hay in here. I am getting a bit of that warmth coming from the honey, but it's a very sort of raw animalic honey. And I say that in the sense that it doesn't come across smelling sweet, right? So there's no corn syrup added here. This is a very sort of tranquil, raw, organic type of a composition, and it just gives off this very sophisticated, grown-up, mature vibe to it. And again, this is not the DNA that's going to appeal to every single human on this earth. This is a very specific DNA for connoisseurs that can appreciate some of the darker ingredients in fragrances. And of course, with a name like Gladiator Oud, this is a very sort of forceful, vehement composition, and I can see this appealing to a lot of people out there who are a fan of some of these darker notes when it comes to fragrances, especially oud and cedarwood, and I sincerely hope you have the opportunity to get your nose on it soon. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I can't really compare this to any fragrance that I've tried personally or any fragrance that I own. I feel like that unique combination of the cumin, the saffron, the agarwood, the cedarwood, the vetiver, the hay, the honey, the geranium, all of those things kind of work together to produce this novel scent. Overall smell though, it's not a citrusy, aquatic, easygoing, K-Lone, isoe super type of a scent. So of course this is going to appeal to somebody who's a bit more experienced with dealing with niche fragrances. Longevity, it's a pure parfum, 10 plus hours. Projection was amazing for the first 2 hours of application, radiated beyond an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent right around hour 7, skin scent right around hour 10. In terms of the versatility, colder weather, a little masculine leaning, at least in a traditional sense. This is great for formal occasions. And again, somebody who's a little bit older, I think would fully appreciate this fragrance. In terms of the presentation, I love the purple glass, the transparency, the gold hardware, the name, super heavy presentation. I love everything about it, to be honest. My final verdict on this fragrance is it's a very dark, daring, powerful, forceful, and vehement composition featuring notes of oud, cedar, honey, geranium, and spices. If any of that sounds appealing to you, please go out there, check it out, get yourself a sample, try it in stores, do what you gotta do. I think this is a brand new scent that is certainly worth checking out. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed today's review. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks again for all of your support. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.